So, have you ever looked at how much money you made last year and thought, wait, where did it all go? You became a creator to make more money, have more freedom, and build a life that a corporate job never could give you. But somehow, as your income grows, it still doesn't feel like there's much left over. And you're honestly not imagining it. I think there are some very real reasons why making more money doesn't make you feel richer. And so today we're going to talk about the three things that are keeping you stuck in your I feel broke cycle and a simple framework that will help you take control of your money. Welcome to the Creator Money Show, where I teach creators how to build profitable businesses and lasting wealth. Let's get into it. Let's face it, you became a creator to make more money, to escape from your corporate job, and to make more money on your own time and on your own schedule than your corporate job ever could have brought to you. But yet I hear from people over and over again, I've made more money than I ever have before, but yet I have nothing to show for it. And I'm not sure where it all went. I was talking to a creator the other day, and she said, how come when we go from making $40,000 in a month to $75,000 in a month, it still doesn't feel like we have that much more money? It doesn't honestly matter how rich we are, we still don't have a lot left over. I'm just not even sure how that happened. So here's what I've noticed about people and their money. No amount ever seems to truly be enough. You always, unfortunately, seem to feel broke. Now, that bar of I'll feel rich when I make X always seems to move because when you get there, that amount of money is never what you thought it was going to be. So today I want to present 3 reasons why I think people feel broke and then present a simple solution to solve that problem. So I was talking to a creator the other day who's made over $1 million, and she was telling me that even that amount of money never ended up feeling like enough for her and her family. The $30 target purchase that she normally wouldn't think about easily turned into the $300 target purchase that she wouldn't think about. Now, this is called lifestyle creep. Your lifestyle keeps increasing with the amount of money that you make. So I went to Reddit because I was curious what other people thought about lifestyle creep and what other everyday average people have to say about it. And I actually found several concepts around this that I really liked and I want to share with you today. So the initial question in the thread was, what is considered lifestyle creep and what is considered just raising your quality of life to the level that you desire? Now, I love the way this question is phrased because I think it is really important to take a second to allow yourself to raise your quality of life to the level that you desire. And I love the way it's phrased, the level that you desire, meaning that there's thought and intention behind that. It is okay when you're making more money than you ever have before to raise that level of life, right? To make the more lavish target purchases, to buy the nicer equipment or to take the bigger vacations, right? There is a level of desire to increase your lifestyle that should be allowed when you're making more money. But let's talk about lifestyle creep specifically and how that can be maybe a little bit detrimental. So the first person said, lifestyle creep implies a level of ignorance, that you unintentionally increased your expenses. I love that. Unintentionally increased your expenses. Another person said, I agree with lifestyle creep being largely unintentional. Your lifestyle expands to fill your new higher paycheck, and then you wonder, where did it go? I think it often gets into keeping up with the Joneses, or I work hard, I deserve the expensive car, the 4-star vacation, the boat, etc. Another said, it's 100 little yeses. It's not normally the big cars, the bigger homes, the larger vacations. It's just the little things that start to add up over time. I like the difference here in what these two people said. One person said it was the bigger vacations and the bigger cars, and the other said that it wasn't. It was the 100 smaller little things. And that's the interesting concept about lifestyle creep, is that it can show up in so many different ways. And you really need to be mindful of that. Obviously, I think it's easier to spot when it is the bigger vacations and the bigger cars because those are larger ticket items. The smaller things, the $30 target purchase that turns into the $300 target purchase, I think that's harder to catch. This last person says, lifestyle creep doesn't feel bad. It's basically a slightly nicer life when all along you were likely happy with the life you had before. I love this concept of intention, right? And being smart and making those lifestyle changes, really thinking about what you truly want and moving forward in that direction and not just having no thought or no plan behind it. When you work hard, that bar moves because you get a raise, a bonus, or you make more in your business than you ever have before, and you feel like you deserve the expensive things, right? And as I mentioned earlier, you should feel like that. You did the hard work and you should be allowed to enjoy your money. But the reason you continue to feel broke and continually wonder where all your money went is because there is no plan for your money. There's no intention behind that spending. There's no logic behind it. Which brings me to my second point, which is not having a plan. Now, most people don't have a plan because they were never taught good financial habits by their parents as a child. You probably likely weren't ever taught this in school, or because you find yourself paralyzed with all the different options that are out there. Maybe you have good intentions and you truly do the research and try to figure it out, but then you leave yourself feeling even more confused than when you started because there's so many different schools of thought, right? And you likely aren't investing your money either because that also feels hard to figure out. So instead, you do nothing, and then your lifestyle continues to inflate, and you continue to make more money, but setting up a plan and figuring out what to do with your money continues to feel hard. And so you continue to push that down the road, thinking one day I'll figure it out, but then that day never really comes. And it's this cycle that repeats over and over and over again for people. You're not alone. A ton of people do this and feel just like that. Now, I get it. I understand. Knowing what to do with your money is really hard. There are so many different ways to save and invest, and there are so many different schools of thought. It can get really, really complicated. So I want to tell you kind of a funny personal story. In college, I was majoring in finance and I was working at a bank, and I had done that for over 4 years. And in my senior year of college, I still found myself really confused about what to do, even though I'd been working at a bank and majoring in finance for the previous 4 years. So in my senior year, I ended up getting a job that was barely helping me make ends meet. And I knew the importance of saving and setting money aside and building up that emergency fund. I really thought that building my emergency fund was going to be the most important thing that I did at that phase of life. However, my job wasn't paying me enough to even cover my expenses. So instead of just living and paying off my bills every day with what I could, I was continually going into credit card debt in order to save and put money aside. Now, 20 years later, looking back at that decision that I had made, I don't think that was the best decision, right? I think that going into credit card debt just so that you can save and put money aside is not a smart financial decision. I was paying more in interest to the credit card companies than I was adding an extra benefit to myself in having money set aside. So Abby today would not tell Abby of 20 years ago to do that same thing. But it's interesting about just not knowing what to do and how confusing it can really get, even when you feel like you're educated and know what to do. I'm grateful now that I have studied personal finance and that I understand it to a completely different level than I did back in college. So sometimes what you do when you are confused is absolutely nothing. You build up large cash balances in a checking account or a savings account, and because you aren't sure the best next step to take, the money just sits there. Check out one of my previous videos I did, which was a client case study of Jane and Ben. They had over $500,000 in cash before they hired me. Now, the problem with this is that your money can't multiply and work for you while you're in your sleep because it's just sitting in a checking or savings account. Your money can't make you wealthy if you don't give it a specific job. You have to tell your money what to do for you. I'm going to assume that you didn't get where you are today in your business without a plan, without a strategy. It's the same with your money. Your money needs a plan and it needs a strategy just as much as your business did. Now, I'd be a little naive if I didn't bring up the fact that things are getting more expensive, especially within these last 5 years, which is my last point as to why people feel broke. I'm on some personal finance Reddit threads, and over over and over again, the question comes up, I'm making $200,000. I'm making $300,000. I'm making $500,000. So why do I still feel broke? Everything is so expensive nowadays. How are people making ends meet? Now, I agree with this. I agree with that feeling, with that sentiment. I mean, think about eggs a year ago. They were insane. Today, I'm recording this. It's July of 2026. Gas is absolutely insane with everything that's going on politically. And so I definitely feel that pain as well. So I wanted to do a little bit of research to see if there was anything to back up my feelings. Now, I found this article published by the Reader's Digest titled 10 Things That Were Affordable 10 Years Ago and Now Feel Like a Luxury. This was written in April of 2026. So let's start in this section of this article of no, it's not our imagination. Prices have really gone up. This article says, overall, consumer prices in the US are up about 30 to 35% since 2016. According to the Consumer Price Index. Now that means something that cost $100 10 years ago costs $130 to $135 today. Now, I definitely feel like that. When I eat out, I used to be able to eat out for $20, and now I'm definitely eating out for $35, $40, right? I'm definitely feeling that pinch of the penny as well. She goes on to say, and while inflation was fairly mild between 2016 and 2019, it surged dramatically in 2021 and 2022, peaking near 9% year over year in mid-2022, the highest it's been in about 4 decades. Now that's crazy to me. The highest in 4 decades, that's pretty crazy. When it comes to everyday expenses, consumers have been hit particularly hard by increases in food and gas prices. But the increases don't tell the whole story, right? Both rent and mortgage rates have skyrocketed too, and many people feel like they're taking hits from all different sides. It's true. So as we scroll down, it's going to give us 10 things that have definitely gone up. So groceries, a 30% increase, fast food, a 50% increase, gas, a 48% increase, concert tickets are 41%, owning a pet, 38%, going to the movies, hotels, housing, car insurance has even gone up 44%, utilities 51%. So there's all these things that are really basic needs, utilities, housing, gas, that have gone up, 30 to 50% over the last 10 years. So what has caused all of this to happen? Prices honestly rise for many different reasons: inflation, supply and demand shifts, labor shortages, global disruptions, but then add on top of it all the global conflicts we've had lately with the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ukraine war, the Iran war, right? There's all these different factors competing that are increasing prices overall and making our wallets feel a lot tighter than they used to be. So overall, yes, things are more expensive, and you can feel rest assured that that is the reality we are unfortunately living in today. So what do we actually do about all of this? Well, I'd like to present a simple 3-step solution to help you feel like you are actually making the financial progress that you want to see in your life. Step 1 would be vision. Know what you're working towards. Know what you want. Spend money in alignment with what those things are instead of chasing the next trend or the next fad or what your neighbor down the street is doing. When you decide to increase your lifestyle because you're making more money, do so with intention, knowing what you're working towards rather than just spending more money at Target. Number 2 is audit. There's nothing better than knowing what's coming in and what's going out, personally and professionally. As a creator, your business and your personal life are connected. They are almost the same thing, right? Knowing how much you make and what sources that income is coming from is a game changer. But then knowing where that money is going and how it is or is not benefiting you or your business will help you make better business decisions. That clarity and peace of mind that comes with feeling like you are the master of your money, instead of your money being this evasive thing that you don't even know what to do with, is honestly priceless. And I'm not talking about trying to restrict or make huge changes with this audit. It's just about creating awareness of what you're doing and where your money is at and not restricting. It's not about trying to tell you not to spend any money anywhere in your business. It's just about knowing what you're doing and being smart about where you are spending that money. And that brings me to my 3rd step, which is putting a structure in place. Having a structure that you can follow repeatedly is going to make all the difference in building wealth. And it's never too early to start having a structure and putting that in place. If you don't have good habits when you are making $100,000, you aren't all of a sudden going to have good habits when you start making $500,000 or even $1 million a year. Those same habits and that same relationship with money is going to stay the same no matter where you are income-wise. So setting yourself up for success and starting when you're at maybe lower levels of income is only going to compound and benefit you for that future by putting those right things in place. So my husband and I are actually multimillionaires, and we haven't actually made insane amounts of money in our life. We've both worked corporate jobs. We've lived in Utah all of our adult lives, and we hit that milestone in our mid-30s. So how did we do this? We had a structure and a plan that we consistently followed. We saved and invested our money over our 15 years of marriage. And that is what has created that level of wealth for us in our mid-30s. No crazy things that we've done. It's just having that structure in place that we follow on a consistent basis. So much of wealth is based on your habits and what you do early on. Getting in the habit of saving and putting money aside each month, even if you don't know the best place to put that money, or you don't even want to take the time to figure it out, is better than doing nothing. You will never regret having extra money set aside that you then can decide one day when you have the time and energy to then do something about it. So I hope this simple 3-step approach will help you as you start thinking about how to feel a little less broke and take some steps to start building wealth. And if putting a plan together in place is feeling too overwhelming, or you want the confidence of having someone to help walk you through it, that's exactly what I'm here for. So don't ever hesitate to reach out and ask for help. Thanks for watching. If you're a creator trying to figure out the money side of your business, make sure you subscribe and let me know in the comments what topic you want me to cover next. Catch you on the next one.